All right, hello, good morning, good evening, and good night. I hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic as always. And in today's video, what we're going to be doing, we have a bunch of different tabs open. We're going to be going over the Yieldmax ETFs, specifically the new ones that Yieldmax released. Because if you are not aware, Yieldmax released a bunch of new ETFs going on Coinbase, the Walt Disney Company, ExxonMobil, and a couple more. But we're also going to go over TSLY's dividend and what I think it's going to be based on what Tesla has been doing in the past little while. So if that does sound good and you're interested in this kind of content, please do subscribe. We are now up to 2,000, not 1,000 anymore. We're way beyond that. 1,184 subscribers. 479 subscribers in the past 28 days. That's fantastic, guys. Our videos are doing pretty well, 4 out of 10, as you can see. And without further ado, I want to present you with this video here. So what we can do first is estimate TSLY's dividend, as most of you who watch my channel probably have heard of TSLY before or are invested in yourselves with TSLY. So Tesla is an interesting company to watch because you know what? It is a very volatile stock. Over the long term, as you can see, it's definitely appreciated in the long term. It pays no dividend. It's close to a $800 billion market cap company. And by the way, I am using a new mouse, so that's my bad if my mouse game isn't on point today. But you know, I'm doing my best. So with that out of the way, so what I want to say is, you know that Tesla is a very volatile stock. As you can tell here, it's gone down to levels as low as $113, risen all the way up to $280, almost $300 in the past year. So it's fluctuating between literally 100 to 200% of its market value. And currently Tesla's on a little bit of a bull run, and TSLY, the Yieldmax ETF, should hopefully look to capture on that. Now, the thing is, TSLY writes synthetic call options on Tesla, and they do it for every single month, right? So what you want to see is volatility from hopefully the start of the month to the end. And one thing that I am a little concerned about is that you could see that Tesla did have a pretty big drop within the middle of the month, but then climbed all the way back up. And what I think might be the case is we want the volatility at the start of the month to be different from the end of the month. And due to the fact that Tesla is kind of trading similar to or close to the same value, I think that in TSLY, we might have a similar yield to what we had last time or a touch less, just due to the fact that there was volatility in the middle of the month, but it's closing at a relatively similar price. So when I go to TSLY and look at their distributions, we're seeing them all over the place. 80 cents, $1.06, 83 cents. I think honestly, this next distribution is probably going to be about the 83-cent level, something similar to what we had previously. Now, that's just due to the fact that Tesla, the underlying stock, didn't really move too much overall in the past month. It just kind of started at a certain level. It did dip quite a bit, but then retreated back to that level. So that is my little estimate on TSLY. Now going to Coinbase, what we're going to do here is we have three different companies that I want to go over. Coinbase, the Walt Disney Company, and ExxonMobil. And what we could do is just kind of taking a look at them. We could see what they might pay in terms of their dividends, because for the Yieldmax ETFs, when looking at CONY, for example, this is CONY, whatever you guys want to call it, they don't have much history. They don't have any dividend history. As you can see, they have no distribution, and that's due to the fact they haven't paid a dividend yet, and they've only been out for a little while. You know what? Actually, just even going to here, I'm going to search up CONY, and we're going to see exactly how long CONY has been out, because it hasn't been that long. But nevertheless, with the underlying stock, which is Coinbase Global, we can kind of predict what this dividend is going to be. So just seeing when it was released. Okay, so it was released August 15, about 15 days ago. But let's just look over the past 6 months and see how Coinbase has held up. Now, looking at the last 6 months, you can see it had a pretty big run up, and I do think Coinbase is a pretty volatile stock. It did have a pretty significant downtrend, as you can see, since the IPO of this company. It was trading at roughly about $350, and then retreated all the way back down to the $79, $80 level that we're currently at right now. And one thing I do think, I'm not super bullish on Coinbase, and the reason being is because I actually used to hold crypto, and I used to have a Coinbase account, but Coinbase charges a lot of fees, and they can be misleading sometimes, and that's why I'm not a huge fan of it. And so I personally will definitely not be buying any CONY, but that doesn't mean that it's not right for you. If you're a fan of crypto and you like using Coinbase, the more power to you. And you know what? You'll definitely probably like the new CONY Yieldmax ETF. And so what I'm going to estimate this yield to be, I think it's going to be a higher yield compared to the others just due to the fact that it is a pretty volatile stock. I'm going to say it's going to be close to the yield of OARC, about the 55 to 50% level. Now, moving and switching gears to the Walt Disney Company, I think Walt Disney is going to be a lot like Apple in terms of their dividend, just due to the fact that it's a generally Walt Disney is a stock held by long-term investors, and there's not going to be too much price fluctuations. It is in a pretty good downtrend at the current moment and actually might be approaching some pretty good buys if you are interested in Disney. Or if you think it's going to appreciate, then you buy the Yieldmax version and you receive a pretty significant dividend rather than zero dividend. Now, I do think Walt Disney is going to be close to Apple just due to the fact that, as I said, it's not a massively volatile stock. It's held by mostly long-term investors, but I do think over the long term, it will appreciate as it's done in the past. Now, another stock, ExxonMobil. This stock, I also believe, will be close to NVDY and also Apple. ExxonMobil, another long-term stock. As you can tell, over the past 6 months, it hasn't really moved too much. Sure, it had some pretty big drops and drawdowns that could be due to earnings, but for the most part, it's a pretty stable stock, fluctuating between the prices of about $100 and current levels at about $115. So not too much price appreciation there. You could see a volatility level about 5 to 15%, which could yield you about 40% in terms of the Yieldmax options that they will pay out. So I hope this kind of gave you a little bit of a perspective on, the different Yieldmax funds and got you thinking about what the yields might be for the Coinbase Global Yieldmax fund, the Walt Disney Company Yieldmax fund, and then also the ExxonMobil one. Now, what I want to do is I want to end off this video not with all the dividends that we discussed, but I want to talk to you guys about Apple. For those of you who don't know, I don't personally own any Apple, but I do think out of all the Yieldmax funds that Apple might be the best for a long-term approach, just due to the fact that Apple has a pretty good track record of increasing its stock price and providing pretty amazing products. And first of all, they have a very loyal fan base. I currently actually have an iPhone, and I'm assuming you have some kind of Apple product at home, and you might be happy with, you might not. If you are, you'll understand my point in why I think Apple may be the best long-term stock, just due to the fact that they have customers that are willing to spend money and they look out for every new release, whether it be an iPhone, AirPods, or Apple TV. They have many broad services. I'm not saying that you should invest in Apple. That is my just long-term outlook and which Yieldmax fund I currently think may be the best for the long term. For the short term, I do still believe in TSLY. I own about 40 TSLY shares currently. It might hover about that level. I'm definitely going to be buying more, but I'll make a video as they will go ex-dividend pretty soon. I'm not super sure on that date, but I hope you guys did enjoy this video about the Yieldmax funds. I love creating these videos just due to the fact that they are high dividend yields, being in the 32% range to the 70% range, which is fantastic, collecting massive dividends from these funds. And I can't wait to see these other ones, and I might actually purchase some more, but I will let you guys know if I do so. All right, without further ado, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. Please do subscribe if you haven't yet done so. We are a growing page and we continue to grow every single day. Our videos are getting tons of views, which I'm so grateful for. You guys, you guys obviously probably love the Yieldmax videos, and I don't blame you. I do too. And I love creating them. So without further ado, I want to wish you a great day. Today's Sunday. Have a great Sunday, and I will see you guys probably tomorrow in the next video.